Hi everyone. We should be live now.
Hey everyone.
I went to say like happy day, like what day it is, and I forgot what day it was. But happy Wednesday, everyone.
Happy Wednesday.
I almost said happy Friday, and I was like, wait, it's not Friday.
Does it feel like a Friday to you, Leah? That wasn't.
I
Are
kinda
you
so
hoping it's a Friday?
I flew back home yesterday from Florida. So yesterday morning, I think we left at like 6 in the morning. My flight was at 8 and we got back to Colorado at like 10 something, so I'm all out of it. Like, time zones are
Mm,
fake. I finally, like, caught up on sleep a little bit last night, but I have no clue what day it is.
there you
I'm
go.
just here. Yeah.
There you go.
I can't even
Are
really
you?
blame jet lag, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you still? No Monster Zero? Like, are
Mhm.
you still cold turkey it?
Yeah, still no Monster. I've been drinking less caffeine too. I feel like I drink more caffeine when I'm other places. Like, when I was home, I had more coffee. But in general, some days I, like, don't have any tea or coffee, and the only caffeine I have is, like, Diet Coke. So, that's a big thing for me because
There
I
you go.
was
That's a pretty
drinking,
big thing.
like, 1 or 2 Monsters and then Coke.
That's awesome. I have a Diet Coke ready for today, so should be good.
We actually have no sodas in my house right now because we need to go grocery shopping. So, I don't have a Diet Coke, so you have to drink another Diet Coke for me.
I should. Like, I think I have two ready to go, so we should be ready to go too. How's everyone in the chat doing? How is your lovely Wednesday?
Okay, we're good. Yeah, how's your Wednesday? Where are you tuning in from? That's always fun to see because of the time differences that people are watching at too. Because I know it's morning for me and Josh,
Yeah, I
even
think one
though
of my
we have a time difference.
yeah, I think one of my favorite things always is whenever I get the chance to be on, whenever I get the chance to be on a stream, is like seeing how spread out the Laravel community is. Where it's
Hmm.
like, hey, there's probably, if I could name 24 hours, which I guess I can because there's 24 hours in the world. If I could name 24 hours, there's someone who it is that time at that specific place in history.
Hmm. We already got. Hi there, Hempsworth. Welcome in. Tuning in from UK, 4 p.m. here. Yeah,
See,
see,
there you go.
that's fun. We're in.
Lovely, lovely Wednesday afternoon for you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in Mountain Time, so it is 10 a.m. for me. Josh is Pacific right now.
Yep, I'm the weird one where technically I am what we would call in the States Mountain Standard Time, not Mountain Daylight Time, which is right now Pacific time. It's a whole thing.
So confusing.
So yeah, it is 9 a.m. my time for me.
And then we have Vancouver Island,
Vancouver Island.
Nanaimo, BC.
One of the things I love about Canada is like the names are so much cooler than
Hmm.
the states. Like the provinces and regions are so much. They're so much more fun.
Yeah, yeah. I like those. I want to explore Canada more. I've gone to Vancouver, but I've only gone to Vancouver Airport, and that's it.
Okay, there
Yeah,
you go. I think the same for me.
which is a nice airport, but I'd like to see more of Canada. Let's see. Hi, Peter. How are you doing? Happy Wednesday. Tuning in from Belgium, 5 in the afternoon. Okay, so a lot of people in the afternoon. Let's see what this is about. Yeah, well, you're going to find out all about Instruct, which is a tool that Josh built that provides UI feedback for AI agents. For like the second half of the stream, we'll also be building an app from scratch using Instruct. So that'll be fun. But I know we'll be getting into it more in a couple minutes. But Josh built Instruct using the Laravel MCP and a boost skill under the hood too. So we're going to dive more into that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for it because I think the funny thing is like everything that we'll see Peter and everyone else in the chat is stuff that it's not like I set out one day and be like, hey, let me create this. It's stuff that as I've building things like in my own free time or just things for demos within Laravel, it's things that I've always wanted, and then it turns out a lot of other people like having them too, and so it's good lesson overall, I think too. But I'm excited mostly because I haven't gotten the chance to show how I build apps now in the agentic world. So hopefully, in the second half of the stream, maybe I can learn something too. Maybe I'm doing something slower or different than other people are. Maybe you'll learn something. I don't know. We'll see.
I think I'll definitely learn something. And I think that also ties into how multiple people have said it. Taylor said it. You even have a blog post about it saying why Laravel is such a powerful stack to use with AI tools now, like how it being so structured allows you to build quicker with AI and just like lends well with AI. And showing from building an app from scratch using Instruct and AI agents, I think we'll just show that off. Pushback said, "Chat, should we bring this to Boost?"
There you go. I love bringing something like this to Boost. It seems like more and more people are getting onto this annotation type world, and like I'll explain in a little bit once we jump into it, like why I built it and why I think it's useful. But that'd be interesting. So you'll have to let people in the chat. You'll have to let Pushback know if this is something that is useful or it's kind of more of like a personal preference thing.
Also, Josh, this is a question for you. This live's related only to Laravel apps or can be used generally? So for Instruct.
Yeah. So this particular live stream that we're on, or I'm mostly going to I am only going to be talking about Laravel apps, just because there's the fun part about Instruct, the package that I built, is Laravel's MCP integration with a boost skill. That I think it's just easier to kind of have that first party integration. But all of this that we built, and I'll kind of show this in a little bit within the code, is a JavaScript library at its core. And so there's already, it's funny because someone already built an Astro integration for Instruct. And so there's ways to use this particular tool outside of just Laravel apps. But this live is going to be talking about Laravel apps specifically.
Yeah. Great answer. Also, hi Zane from Indonesia. Hi Juan from Puerto Rico. Hi Wendell. I guess this is a GIF probably on Twitter that we can't see, but hi Wendell.
I bet it's a great GIF, Wendell.
Probably from Rwanda. We have people from India. Yeah, hi everyone. Welcome in.
I always love like the 30-minute time difference from India. It makes me smile every single time I think about it.
It throws me off. I was like scheduling the stream at Pushback, and he's like, I'm available at like, I think he said he was available at like a time with 30 minutes on it, so it was an easier for me to book. He's like, I'm available at 9:30. We could do 9:30 to 10:30, like his time. So then my time, it was like a normal one. It was just like 9 to 10 or something, whatever. But that threw me off. I didn't realize there was like a 30-minute difference.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's so cool at the same time.
Yeah. No, I think it's cute, but when you go to schedule stuff, it like throws me off.
It's probably annoying, yeah.
Yeah. Also, hi, Rich.
What's up, Rich?
Okay. Let's go ahead and jump into it then.
Sweet.
So as we've kind of talked about today, we're going to be talking about Instruct, which is a tool that Josh built. This stream is going to focus on the implementing it with Laravel and how he built it using Laravel MCP and Laravel Boost, like a skill using Boost. So it'll be focused on Laravel, but you can use Instruct even if you don't use Laravel. Like Josh said, someone's already built an adapter for Astro for it, but we're going to get more into what Instruct is, how it was built, and then a live demo building an app from scratch using it. But before we get into that, let's do some quick intros. So, hi everyone, my name is Leah Thompson. I am a DevRel engineer here at Laravel, and I work closely with our online communities and doing live streams like this. And then I'm here today with Josh Cirre, who is also a DevRel at Laravel. But Josh, do you want to do a quick intro?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Josh Cirre. Yep, you pronounce my last name just like the iPhone. And I am also a DevRel engineer, developer relations engineer. And what I mostly focus on, I guess, is a lot of our video content as well as kind of demo content specifically around just new things that the Laravel open source community and our Laravel products are putting out. So I'm a big advocate specifically in the last couple of months of AI and Laravel Cloud. And it's not just because I work for Laravel, it's because I think they're great too. And hopefully we can show that off in this stream.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we already got a W, Josh.
W,
from
Josh. Okay.
Bruno,
Thank you, Bruno. I appreciate that.
which is basically synonymous with HYB, right?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take a W.
We got really into HYBs inside.
HYB. Yeah.
I
I don't
still
know.
do
Like,
it.
it feels weird saying it like that, but I
Mhm.
like typing it.
Yeah. Because I guess when you type and read it, you read like, hell yeah, brother. But sometimes I just like saying the acronym because it's funny to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a little too long to say, but like when I
Yeah.
read it as like, hell yeah, brother. But like,
Mhm.
it's weird to say.
I do it the same way. But yeah, let's kind of jump into what is Instruct. How would
Yeah.
you explain what Instruct is?
Yeah, I'll give a brief explanation, then I'll start sharing my screen, kind of like walk through
Mhm.
the problem that I had specifically. But basically, like a very high level overview is, I think, in this realm of agentic UI development, it's more important than ever how precise we are with AI,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to UI. And the neat part is AI has already done a great job with screenshots, in the sense of like, hey, I'll take a screenshot of this and tell it what to do. But I think the more AI gets better, the more we can kind of adapt into how we work with AI. And so Instruct at its core basically gives you a floating UI box across your local development server.
Mhm.
I'm experimenting with what it would look like on a hosted application too. But on your local development server, it gives you a floating UI box to be able to pinpoint and select specific elements, and then be able to say, write down specific instructions for the AI that you can then paste into your cursor or Claude Code or Codex, to basically take note of what you're trying to fix and trying to tell the AI to fix, but then be able to give it in a standardized format that the AI would expect. And so I'll kind of share my screen right
Yeah.
now, but let me go ahead and share the entire screen, and I'll wait until I plop open this right here.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. And I'll try to be watching the chat, but Leah, I know you're great at that. So just interrupt me if there's any awesome questions.
Okay.
Or if they're not, or if they're just questions at all. You don't have to try to come up with an awesome question, just
Okay.
any question. But yeah, this is at my GitHub right now. This is kind of like a JavaScript package that then has a Laravel adaptation to it. And the Laravel adaptation is the part that I'm really excited to show off. But the goal of Instruct is what I would call a visual feedback for AI coding agents. So I kind of want to paint you a little bit of a picture. This is a app that I have that I don't have Instruct running on.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to fire this up real quick. Open this up. I don't know if I have an account with my local dev real quick. So I'm just that's going to bother me. So I'm going to see if I have one. And I do. Sweet. Okay. So this is how I would typically work within a application before I started building Instruct and kind of the reason for this. There's a bunch of different tools that this was kind of inspired by, but most of those tools were built for React. There's React Grab, which I think is created by Aiden. I can't remember his last name, Aiden Bay, but the ability to click on something and kind of have this ability to kind of select something and add context to it. And that's the core of what Instruct is. I didn't innovate on top of these ideas. I just wanted it for my own stack, which 90% of my applications right now are probably built within Livewire. But then sometimes I'll use, because I am a developer relations engineer for Laravel, I like to use all of our starter kits, which is Svelte, Vue, React. And I wanted something the exact same across all of these stacks. So agentation is another one that is also, again, built for React. Fantastic tools. And so I wanted the ability to say, okay, this stuff is great. How can I build this for Laravel? And I guess like I'm one of those that's I'm always trying to find learning opportunities when I'm sharing about why I built things. But it's one of those things where I think we have an interesting time where, like, if I have an idea of like, hey, I just want this for Laravel apps, instead of waiting for someone else to build it, I'm like, hey, why don't you build it? Because if you have an idea, you're watching on stream and you're like, I need this, I need X for Laravel, or I need X for my stack, or I need X that fits specific within my use case, well then do it. And so within Instruct, I kind of took all of those ideas, and I didn't innovate on them, so I'm inspired by them, and I put those in like the GitHub as well to say like, hey, this is largely inspired by agentation and React Grab and all of those other ones. But when I'm building a application, this is a little demo that I built for the AI SDK. It's live actually on larrycon.laravel.cloud if anyone wants to try it out. Whole separate video, but I went through this with Taylor on the stream maybe a month or so ago. But when I'm building out an application, let's say I don't quite like that. I'm trying to think of something that I don't like right now about this. Let's say I don't quite like that this starts off hidden. If I wanted to, there's a couple of things. This is probably a bad example, but I could either open up my terminal, I could go to my code editor, and I could find where that particular place is, or I could go to my Claude code, which is typically what I'm doing within building an application, and I would do something like, hey, this library stats, the library stats drop down, can we make this open by default? Library stats drop down, can we make this open by default? Okay, that's great. Sometimes I might even take a screenshot. My mouse is wigging out on me. Sometimes I'll even take a screenshot and I'll just drag and drop that in and kind of say the same thing. The library stats drop down, make it open by default. Okay, that's great. But then as this is working, let's say this is the even longer prompt that I'm doing. Like I went into chat and for some reason this is just broken and the layout's all shifted, or I had a duplicated header down here. If I do the same kind of prompt, but then I'm walking through my application and I find something else, the problem that I always had was as I'm kind of testing out my UI, I go through everything and then I take notes. But within the AI SDK or within agentic world, I could maybe open up a new terminal and spin up Claude code and then type that new instructions on here. I could just wait until this is finished and or queue up that message. But I got to this point where I wanted to have things be more concise, because typically what I'm doing is when I'm testing out and building an application on my local environment, I'm clicking through the app, I'm making sure it works as I expect and it looks as I expect. And so that's really what Instruct came out. So if I'm going to go ahead and create a new application to show this off a little bit, and then we'll dive into the code of what actually happens within Instruct. Let's go into this and we'll say Laravel new, let's say Instruct demo. Perfect. We use Svelte today because that seems like a pretty on topic thing. There's a couple of Twitter shout outs to Svelte yesterday.
I saw yours about it. I still haven't really gotten into Svelte. I want to. I think I would like it, but I'm still React.
Yeah. The thing I like, and the reason why I like Livewire and Svelte specifically too, is like, especially with AI. So within React, I feel like it's very hard to just write JavaScript. And people are going to get mad at me for this, but it's very hard for the AI to just write JavaScript, because then people are like, oh, React is just JavaScript. But there's so many ways to do one thing within React. And I think sometimes, unless you have particular extreme preferences on, hey, this is how I do it, and you're writing it into your agent and you have it as a skill or whatever that might look like.
Or every time you prompt it, you like include it. Because I think that's what I did. It's like if I wanted to do something, I would think about how I wanted it architectured before, like how I wanted it to be, and then I would provide that context. Because if you leave open-ended prompts with, maybe it's like specifically with React like that, you're going to get crazy results.
Yeah, especially if like it will start writing a whole bunch of like use effect hooks, and or like it will try to do within Laravel. And I think sometimes I think with Boost helps this a lot as well. But it also like might try to do like a use effect to update an inertia page instead of just using the hooks that inertia provides. And the thing that I like with Livewire and Svelte, and it just might be my own bias, of course, too, but I like that it's AI. If it defaults to being like, oh, I'm just going to write just some plain JavaScript, because Svelte is compiled to JavaScript, and then Livewire, you can just put a script tag in. It's okay. No one, I don't care if it's not, if it's not like this nicely formatted JavaScript and stuff like that too. But I'm going to install Instruct now. So I have this new, fresh Laravel 13 demo application. We'll open this up right here. Perfect. Okay. New, fresh Laravel 13 demo application. That's great. I'm going to install composer require Josh Cirre /instruct Laravel -dev. Hopefully I didn't break anything when I was like updating some things last night. Fingers crossed. But the only thing that we have to do now, and after installing it, is PHP artisan instruct install. And what this does is a couple things. It will publish a configuration file. It will install a specific Laravel boost skill. And then it tries to detect like what framework you're using. Because again, my goal with building this package was I want to have the same experience, whether I'm using our React application, our Svelte application, or our Vue application, or Livewire. And so it has a little Vite plugin that just injects into here. So if we were to take a look at our demo and we were to take a look at our Vite config,
we're just starting the demo and we already have a wow, which is how I feel too.
Thank you. Hopefully it continues to be more wow, because that's not the fun part yet. But it's just little Instruct Vite plugin. And this is, again, I wanted everything that I try to build. And I think AI is a great way to do this. I had AI help me build a lot of Instruct because I wanted it to be applicable for people who are using Laravel and Svelte, but maybe you're using a Laravel API and you want this for your, Svelte front end or your Vue front end. And so this kind of sets it up for Laravel specifically to say, hey, we don't need a a server for Vite because we have a Laravel endpoint. It's going to use this endpoint, and it's going to have the adapters of Svelte, or if we're writing any Blade in this application, because it picked up on that as well. And then the MCP server, I think, is my favorite part about why I built Instruct, and the cool part, I think, to show off. But just one install, and we'll kind of walk through like what that particular skill is as well. But now when I open up my browser as well, I have this little thing over here, and everyone can see that. Perfect.
The little like toolbar thing.
Yeah. So this toolbar is the neat part is it's customizable as well. So if someone doesn't like all of these things, the configuration that we see in the Instruct configuration kind of gives us the ability to have specific keys where maybe you don't want some of the keys or some of the toolbar visibility on here. If I wanted to have any of the things I'm walking through hidden, or you just don't use them as often. All of this is kind of built to be as flexible as possible, and also to be able to give you as the user of, okay, how do you like to build with AI? It's kind of default my own setup and my own preferences, but hopefully it has enough config that you can make that happen. So if I press A, which is this little pencil icon here, you're going to see that I just start having this little selector where I can then select something. Let's say this little box right here. And I'm going to say, let's remove the bullet points. I'm going to add that note. We have this little note added for us. And because we know that this is a Laravel application, all of this is going to be saved to our browser session. So the neat part is, if I was to refresh this page, we still have this little note here. If I was to go into register and then go back, we still have this little note here. And this is the goal of this, is to have this ability of, as you're walking through your application, as you're clicking around, to eliminate as much context switching as possible. So we have a little annotate element. I can drag this around if I want to and have it be over here if I want. But we have this little screenshot region as well, because I like to take screenshots a lot. So if I wanted to say, let's make this, and I press C to like start the capture item. Let's make this get started instead of register. I'm just going to add that note. And then there's a couple of like neat little fun ones, like if I was to register, and I'm going to create my own account here. The next one is a little freeze item. So let's say you have some animations on the screen. This was mostly inspired from React Grab and agentation. Let's say you have some either animations, or if I click like a little drop down, I want to freeze and not be able to click. I'm trying to click off of it right now. Now that drop down is still going to stay up, because sometimes you're wanting to tell an agent about something, but it's hidden within a modal, and then maybe a drop down in another modal. This is going to allow
then when you go to screenshot it or something, you have to click off of it, and then it closes, and then you get mad, because that happened to me so many times.
Yep, exactly. And so this little freeze button is the goal is to like kind of stop that. So if I was to open this up, press freeze, all of a sudden I could then press annotate and select these particular items. I could press C and capture. Well, that broke, so I can't do that, I guess. I can annotate though. That's the biggest thing. I can annotate on like specific items within a dropdown. And then the neat part is, like I said, any annotation that I have, if I want to, let's go ahead. Let's remove these links. And then I'm going to go into settings. Again, these are completely different pages because we're on settings/profile. So it bases it off of an individual URL. If I go back into settings, maybe for this delete account, I'm just going to do a fun one. Let's say, can we make this So you have to say Laravel is so cool instead of writing your password. Now, all of a sudden, I have all these notes, but the thing that I think is interesting within the AI world is we've gotten to this point of context switching, where in the past, before I built Instruct, I would have to take this note, go back into my terminal, back into fire up Claude code, like for this particular application. And I would have to start typing, take screenshots, go back, take a screenshot, go back, and all of a sudden I'm working on individual elements at a very slow pace. The goal, and I think this is where Laravel MCP and Laravel Boost, particularly with like a skill, really help this, and why the Laravel implementation of Instruct is so awesome in my mind is we have the ability then to say all of these instructions that I gave across the whole app are automatically copied to my clipboard. I could also copy them right here using this. But if I go back into my Claude code, if I go into MCP, you see here we have this little Instruct MCP already ready to go, because when we ran Instruct install, it installed it for us. But now I can just paste. And this is 38 lines, and we'll see what it looks like in a little bit. But everything that we did for removing the bullet points, and this is a particular ID, it has specific classes and what file it is. So this is in welcome.svelte. All of a sudden, the agent knows where to work on specific things because it has context around the surrounding area. Most of the time, I think in our like our human to AI interaction, most of the time we like to think about it from like a visual perspective of, hey, change this login and register button. But maybe there's 2 login and register buttons across 2 dashboards. And it's so much easier to then have the AI know where specific files are, where specific elements are.
Even
and here
what
we also
classes
have
are on it.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's easier to search for the AI. And then we have a screenshot as well. And that's actually stored in our storage app. So it's not something that we are copying into the terminal. It is there and ready to go. Now, there's a couple things that are really cool that's happening. It's going to update everything. And then you see here, it says, after making changes, use the instruct.resolve MCP tool to mark each annotation as resolved. Because if we take a look at this, we have these annotations that stay because they are persisted. What it's going to do is it's going to make all these changes, but then at the end of it, it will call the Instruct MCP and say, let's actually resolve all of these. So now it's trying to do like that Laravel is so cool confirmation change. And it's finding that particular element, but then because it's AI and because it's smart, it knows that we need to actually use this in the delete user and change the backend validation. So all this is stuff that at least I would typically be doing within an app, making changes, asking the AI to do stuff. But now I have it in a list format, and I have it in a way that I can copy and paste it and kind of have it start working on all these little things, even while I'm back in the app doing things. You can see actually it just ran that MCP, looks like. Yeah, it ran this resolve tool MCP. And yeah, all 4 annotations resolved. Sweet. Let's see if it did it. I'm just curious of the delete account one. That was so cool. Nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's the basics of it. And hopefully, as we in the second half of this stream, I'll walk through first of what it actually looks like within the code, like within the Instruct MCP server. But then the second half of the stream, walking it through like a real app is a fun treat as well, because I think it's that's the purpose of it, is to be able to have all of these elements stored and ready to go.
And real quick, because of the demo, I've got to do it. It's not the one as good as the
one that I had.
It's like, woo, yeah, but it's pretty good. so much. Oh god, I love how it just goes on longer than you think, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
Like it should probably start winding down about around now.
yeah.
Uh,
Someone said, oh,
yeah.
where
Any
was it?
questions so far?
Najib said, MCPs seem to increase context usage due to tool costs. Any best practices to manage that? Which I
Yeah.
know is like general about MCPs, but
Yeah, great question. So the interesting thing about MCPs, and I know maybe Pushback's still on the call, so he can correct me if any of this is wrong. I don't want to lead anyone astray. But at least to my knowledge, the interesting thing about MCPs that are kind of different than skills. So they're separate, but one of the things to keep in mind is that when you have an MCP, that is automatically loaded up into and available for your agent to use. It's not going to call that every single prompt, but it's going to be available. And one of the things that when we talk about Laravel's MCP, let me go to, like when we're talking about Laravel's MCP, there we go. I'm clicking through everything. When we talk about Laravel's MCP package, which is what Instruct Laravel package is built off of, this description is really crucial because the description is what your agent is going to look through all of these descriptions of available connected MCP tools. Anytime I create a prompt, it's going to look through the description of all tools to see, okay, should I call this MCP if the user has not called an MCP? And then it's going to load up every single, if that MCP is called, it's going to load up every single tool, every single prompt, every single resource that an MCP server actually has available. So yes, it can increase context usage due to tool calls if you are using that MCP server within that particular prompt. So one of the things that like we like to, I think that the team at Laravel has done a great job. And I think one of the things that makes Boost super incredible is you then have skills to be able to help load up specific context only when you need them. And then the skills can then tell Laravel Boost, hey, we don't need to use this MCP server until this particular moment. And so I think it's this balancing act within AI of making sure that we don't give too much context, so it just automatically overwhelms itself, but then also making sure that everything is described or detailed enough to know, so the AI doesn't have to guess of, and I actually had this issue last night, which I fixed last night. Every now and then, if I went back to this, every now and then, I used to have this prompt of call instruct.get screenshot. I used to have this as a general prompt that was tagged on at the copy at the end, kind of similar to here. I said for screenshots, call this. But because it just loads up the whole MCP server, it loads up all of the tools, it started to try to call screenshots with specific annotations, specific ID instructions that didn't have screenshots, and then it would just fail. And so it's an example, I think, here of the prompt always still matters, but the description of how a MCP tool works or a skill that helps load up an MCP tool matters as well. But Najib, I think one of the things to keep in mind too that's also interesting is, like, I think we're getting to this point now with AI where, because there's so much context window already available, it doesn't really matter too much about how much we're giving to the AI. It matters how specific and focused we're giving it to. So like if Claude Code by default, at least currently, like the Opus version, has 1 million tokens of credit, I believe, right now, which is so big. So then it makes us, when we're writing MCP tools for our own applications or for client applications, how do we make sure that we keep things focused within a tool. So the tools, like we'll see here within the Instruct Laravel package, there's 3 tools, which you think for like this little application, there shouldn't be that many tools. But there's a get all pending tool to get all of the pending annotations, because let's say I'm not copying and pasting things in, but maybe I have my agent checking every 5 minutes for annotations. And so this tool allows us to call that MCP tool. We have get screenshot tool to get the screenshot image that's specifically attached to the annotation. It's base 64 encoded. And then we have the resolve tool. That's the one that we saw at the end to basically mark them so they don't show visually on our local instance as well. And so the goal of each one of these tools, again, all this is built with the Laravel MCP package, laravel.com/AI/MCP. All of these tools then are passed to our agent at the time of when the prompt is happening, but they're not actually called and all of the context is loaded into the agent unless the MCP is triggered to be called. And in this case, my particular prompt that says after making changes, use the instruct.resolve MCP tool. That's automatically going to say, hey, let's use this in Instruct MCP. So it's going to load up that context at once.
And I added the links in chat for laravel.com/AI/MCP. And I also shared the boost link as well, which is laravel.com/AI/boost.
Yeah. The boost one is fun. And it's one of those things that we the Laravel team and Taylor and myself feel that boost was really ahead of its time, and now it's kind of like it's 10 times better than everyone else, just because I think Laravel Boost and Pushback, if you're still in the chat, you can correct me. I think Laravel Boost was released in like August of last year. I think it's coming up. Like, I think we're coming close to the year. Like I think it was after Laracon US, but not too far after. So maybe October, September, October.
It was announced August 13th.
There you go.
I found the blog post.
But like, that's so long ago in the AI world, which is crazy. But I think there's so many things that Boost gives. And one of the things that the reason why Instruct works really well is all of this is very hard to do outside of Laravel for a reason. And I think that's a good reason, is not just having these MCP tools and a server that then can resolve all of those annotations. You can build it within your own like node package, but this is all stuff that is automatically given to us within the framework. If you install this locally in your command, even that install command that we ran after installing Instruct, it uses this Boost skills Instruct. And I actually have a video coming out later this week about how to write Boost skills for your package so that Boost can use them. Basically, if we go back to when let's see if we still have the I don't think we do. We do not. I was trying to find where we installed the I guess I could install it into
in that one.
I could install it into this too. But when we run composer require instruct, and then we run PHP artisan instruct install, it automatically calls this boost update command, which then checks to see, hey, is there any, so we'll see PHP artisan instruct install. It automatically calls this boost update command. So if I was to run this by default boost update, it's going to automatically load these guidelines and skills that we already have. So if I was to go into Claude, we should see this skill now. Let's see. Yeah, project skills Instruct. Perfect. So Boost automatically kind of knows where this skill lives because we ran that Boost update command. So because Boost is only checking for things that are in this Boost/skills directory. And I think the neat part within Laravel Boost for skills and MCP is they can work in tandem so well together. Because I could, instead of having this skill, I could in that copyable prompt that after we make a bunch of annotations and make a bunch of instructions, I could within that copyable prompt say, hey, this is how you fix everything, and then call this and then call this. But instead, Laravel Boost automatically knows to load up this skill. Your AI agents automatically know to load up this skill and say, okay, here's what's actually going to happen. I need to make the fix. I need to check for any screenshots. I probably could flip this around too, like check for screenshots first and then make the fix. But then for each, it kind of gives instructions to the AI agent of how to deal with the things that we're giving, as well as instructions on how to use MCP tools. So you can think of Boost skills as elements of how to do something in your application. And I think they work great within MCP because Laravel Boost itself has skills to work with the MCP servers itself. Then the last thing to kind of look at for here is that particular MCP route. So this is what makes Instruct so nice. And also, if I was to make a hosted version of it, it's actually incredibly easy to do because MCP gives you local MCP server instances so that when we run MCP, we have this Instruct already connected for us. PHP artisan MCP start Instruct. Same thing with Laravel Boost. They're just local MCP servers. But Laravel makes it incredibly easy with that MCP package to say, let's just spin up a local server. And here's like the specific server class that we're giving it. Here's the tools that it has available to it. So it's crazy how easy this was to make in all way, shape, and form. I think I did it in an evening or afternoon or evening or something like that. Of course, I've iterated over the past couple of weeks, but it's crazy how easy something like this is.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I know there was some questions. So Bruno said, can you have a package where we auto inject a skill for the package?
Yep. I think so that would probably be similar to like our install command for let me go to so that'd be similar to like the install command where you can definitely create a package that then calls Boost update to make sure it is aware of it. So in this case, like it's calling, I have like detection of the framework, and then afterwards it should update Laravel Boost. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So here's where it installs that skill to basically go into resources, Boost skills. And Boost then knows Boost then knows if any skill is available within this particular directory, resources, Boost skills, it is automatically injected into the runtime anytime you call a prompt. So if you're writing your own package or you're just wanting your own specific skills, maybe for like a starter kit that you're building or just an application that you have, anything that you create or put into that. So if I was to go and pull this up and go into resources, what is it? Resources. Resources, Boost skills, Instruct. Oops. Yeah. So then Boost automatically takes that skill and adds it to your particular agent. So the reason why I don't have that resources boost, if your package has a source resources boost skills, it'll automatically take that skill and then put it. So we have this inertia React development. This is a skill created by Laravel specifically for Laravel Boost. This is like if I was to run, I know the Laravel team just created as of this morning a new one. So if I was to run composer update, I think it's called, can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Laravel Best Practices.
Yes, Laravel Best Practices. I actually had already saved the URL of Taylor's tweet about it to share during our stream today because I was like, we should mention that because we're talking about boost skills.
Yeah. So if you want the latest skills, it's as easy as running composer update to make sure we update to Laravel Boost, which we do here 2.4.0, which I think should be the last one. And then artisan boost update updates those guidelines and skills. And we should have, Laravel best practices. So there's rules, which are just smaller skills, and then a skill.md to talk about how to apply each of those rules. So I'm actually curious. I actually just updated my starter kit that we'll use to build the demo application here, and I'm curious of like how these work. We might actually be able to do it quicker than in my test.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, are there any other questions before we jump into like a little let's build something demo?
Bruno had said earlier too, hey Josh, could you make a CLI? The issue is context bloat. We can use skill plus CLI to resolve the issues. And then under it, he said, or I make a PR.
Yeah, I think make a PR, like see a CLI instead of using the UI. Is that I think I'm understanding you.
I think so. I guess clarify, Bruno, if that's not what you mean, but I think so.
Yeah, clarify if that's not what you mean. I think like the difference is it might be hard. Like I think the goal of it is to have that little UI layer so that you can
we said instead of MCP. Like a CLI instead of MCP.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think like with that, you don't have to run the you might be able to create a PR and to optionally, like maybe like with an optional flag, we should be able to just not use the MCP server within the Laravel package. And then it would just be the front end Vite config, which still saves all of those screenshots so that you can still reference them to your agent. But that way you don't have to have it calling the MCP. So that might be a good PR for that. If you don't absolutely want the MCP for sure.
For opening up the PR, would that be on the Instruct one itself or the Instruct Laravel one?
For that particular one, it would probably be the Instruct Laravel one, because we would probably, if you want to, because it's probably possible for us to, just because it might even be a config option that you want. I actually don't know if I have this actually as a config. Let's see. I thought of a lot of things that was like, oh, that'd be a good thing to add. Yeah, I think the Vite config. Yeah, so I think if you just passed MCP false here, I think it should not call the MCP server. And I don't think that MCP server would then be loaded up. I could be wrong though. So yeah, try it out, and then create a PR if it's not working the way you intend. And
if you do end up opening the PR, I linked the GitHub repository for Instruct-Laravel as well in the chat. So it's github.com/Josh Cirre/Instruct-Laravel. Let's see. I think those were it for like questions. I know Najib earlier said I've been using Playwright MCP, feels heavy. I think Instruct might be better for AI UI feedback. And there was a lot of excitement when you were showing off it as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone. I'm glad. Yeah. So in terms of Playwright MCP, I think they solved two different points in my mind. So we'll see this in a little bit, and I'll actually get started as I'm talking. I'm going to clone my specific starter kits. No one has to use this. This is my own personal one, but we're going to make an app called Would You Rather. It's a voting app. And I have this starter kit mostly because I'm going to run the composer setup command, which does a whole bunch of things, mostly because I have my own personal preferences kind of loaded into this application of what I start out with. It already has Instruct installed for me, but it also uses this Playwright MCP. And the reason I like Playwright, and so let me open it up to Playwright. Playwright.dev. It's a Chrome extension, because the one thing I dislike about the Playwright MCP, and I think they solve different standpoints within Instruct and Playwright. I think Playwright MCP is great for having the agent try to resolve itself. Instruct is where I would use my own taste and skill of saying like, hey, I don't like this, or I like this. I think Playwright specifically gives it the ability to use your instance, so I can spin this up and it will start using my Chrome browser instead of using a headless Chrome browser. But yeah, I think for your feedback, for your comment, Najib, I think they solve two different use cases, and I personally use both. But if you were using Playwright MCP to say, hey, go check out this, it should be blue instead of green, then yeah, I think Instruct might be a great option for that particular use case. Bruno, I see that you said PHPR's Instruct resolve. Okay, so like instead of MCP, using the CLI to resolve things. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I would say, yeah, create a PR for that. I would love to see. I think it's a good use case. I think the reason why I use MCP, and I can see the use case for a CLI. The reason why I use MCP, one is I like learning new things, and I hadn't gotten to build a local MCP server yet. But two, I also wanted it in this way of if I was making changes, I wanted that like I wanted to watch for annotation, so I didn't have to copy and paste the instructions, and it just automatically start resolving things as I go if I spun up my agent to do that. But yeah, being able to call instruct resolve, yeah, do it.
And then Zane said Laravel question mark.
Laravel. Yeah, basically. Let me pull open my terminal again. Okay, so I ran.
Because I just thought it was a name. It's funny because I just thought it was a name. Like I was reading it as Wyrd with a Y. I was like, I guess Josh is just trying to be edgy and spell it differently. And then you said, "Would you rather?" I'm like, oh, it's an acronym.
Yeah, I didn't like just W.YR, so I was like, would you rather d? So it's like wired. I don't know. Yeah. This was me late last night. But I figured we could create an application. And so I have everything like ready for me. This is my personal starter kit. There's nothing too crazy about it. It's just my own personal preferences. It uses Livewire. It uses Flux. It has all of the packages that I typically use installed. It has a lot of very strict static analysis and a lot of very strict testing that I think AI leans really heavy into. But there's nothing that was that. Sorry,
it's Fission, right?
Fission. Yep, that's correct. I don't know if anyone would like to use it, because it is very opinionated for my specific use case of spinning up demo applications. But there are some good learnings, I think, from it if you like to learn about, okay, how does AI work? Because I have very much optimized it, especially in the last couple of months, for me building within AI. And I think hopefully we can show specifically why. But all that to say, I'm only doing it because it's familiar to me. We could probably spin up this same application within any of the starter kits just as quickly because of Boost and because of like the skills that Laravel Boost has. So I'm going to say you're going to build I'm going to use this would you rather API. I think it was called Would You Rather. This one right here. Okay. I found this little API that you call it and it sends back would you rather questions. And so I want to create a voting
Like it
app.
already existed?
Yeah, the API already existed, so we don't have to build that out. We're going to build a voting app for would you rather questions. We don't need to use the authentication scaffolding that we have because it's going to be anonymous voting. It's going to use the API here for grabbing questions and have a 60-second voting timer for each question, using probably local session or IP rating. Let's have each user only vote once per question. Each user will be anonymous, so no authentication. And we should use Laravel Reverb, install with PHP Artisan, install broadcasting with Livewire. Livewire on broadcast events in order to be able to see everyone who is voting at once. We should use should broadcast now instead of defaulting to the queued broadcast events. Once 60 seconds has passed, let's it should automatically grab a new question and start a new round of voting that everyone can vote on. Again, each person should only be able to vote once per question. I think that should be good. Neat part is if any of this fails, I have another, I have one that I spun up last night that we can put on Laravel Cloud. And I mostly want to put it on Laravel Cloud because I think it's a cool little application.
I love the always having a fail-safe. I do the same. Also, hi, Francisco.
What's up, Francisco? How are you?
How are you? Happy Wednesday, now that I finally know what day it is.
Yeah, one of my hot takes specifically about, it's not really a hot take, but one of the things I think is, I think more people should build their own starter kits because I think the more you have opinions on, like, let's say how you like to, even if you use a Laravel starter kit, but you like to have good default starting options within there of like, hey, this is how I like my dashboard laid out, and this is how I, these are the 3 packages I almost always install. You should like create your own either like package or starter kit for that, because I think AI does better when it knows. So my starter kit, for example, is like, if I was to pull this open, it's so like I already have like agents in Claude.md, but like most of it's like based around you're using Flux. Everything you build needs tests for it. It's using Livewire for single file components. And it's so strict that it almost can't fail because there's only one way to do things.
No, I think that's a good idea. And then it's like, it obviously would save you time, not just like you manually doing it yourself, but like say if you're having to go back and forth with like AI agents to change certain things every time to like change the dashboard and stuff, then if you have the starter kit, you're already starting from that point. So then it's saving you prompts or whatever.
Yep. Yep. And the neat part, I think, within this AI agentic world as well is because AI does a great job of comparing something. Let's say for my particular starter kit, I like that the Laravel, like maybe there's a new package or a new feature of Laravel starter kits that are coming out. I know there's a couple of fun ones that were announced at Laracon EU that are probably going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. Like it's easy to then point my starter kit, which is, it's a very minimal starter kit compared to Laravel, but I can say, hey, let's actually add this as an option. And it knows how to do that. So you can kind of like pick your own flavors of a flavor starter kit, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Now that's making me think of like going to McDonald's or something and you have the soda fountain with all you use your soda and stuff. Or like when you go to Sonic and you can add flavors to your sodas and stuff. It's like that, but for starter kits.
Yeah. I'm curious, everyone in the chat, do you have that? I know that they're not actually, it's not like they're in every place in the States at least, but the ones where you have the big touch screen Coke machine. Does everyone in the chat know what I'm talking about? Or like, do you not have those in your particular area?
It's like Coca-Cola Freestyle. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that because there's so many things that no restaurant's ever going to have the things that I like because it's like specific. Like, for example, I really like Coke Zero or Diet Coke Pineapple.
Oh. Now I want to try that.
It is available in most of those freestyle machines, but like you're never going to get that at just like a McDonald's or whatever.
I bet you could get it at Sonic though, because Sonic you can add the different flavors.
Yeah,
to your drink.
At least my current Sonic does not have pineapple though. But yes.
Oh man, that's wild. I bet Utah would, because you have all the dirty soda places in Utah.
Oh yeah,
so they had like pineapple at all of them. Yeah. Boomer detected.
Wait,
Is this a Coca-Cola Freestyle or?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah. What did Josh say?
What did I say?
I'm going to assume you're talking about Josh and not me, but it could be me too.
It could be how I'm building application. Very boomer. I'm just watching it.
Yeah, but using AI feels like non-boomer, but I don't know. Could be wrong. That could just be me wanting to seem hip.
Yep. I'm curious in the chat, how many people have opened up their code editor and written more than 50 lines of code in the last month? Like, I guess, like, I'm curious of how many people are, what's their thing? So like for me, for example, I still use, and like, this is actually, I probably, just because I want to not be focused too much about this application and talk to the chat a little bit. The thing that I do in my editor or in my terminal is I usually install my own applications like PHP Artisan, install broadcasting. Like I would probably run that myself. Any kind of like, I would open my code editor for anything. Like if I'm changing any kind of config is usually when I'm opening my code editor.
Wait, do you not keep your code editor open the whole time?
I don't. No, usually I open it to make a change, then I close it.
I keep mine open the whole time. I don't think I've written 50 lines of code by hand fully myself with no AI or anything in the last month. But so I'm still one of those people even when I'm like vibe coding, I don't just let AI do whatever. Like I have to approve everything.
Yeah.
And then I'm very particular of how I want it to write things, which I should probably write skills for that instead of me having to handhold it as much as I do. Because I think when Jess Archer, who works at Laravel, was on during the 1-year cloud anniversary stream, I think like she was saying, I don't know if she has skills or how, but she didn't really use AI a lot. But then lately AI was able to produce code that was like the quality of how she would want it written herself. And I don't know if she's using skills and stuff to do that, but I should probably utilize that. But I like really handhold AI. Like I don't let it just go crazy. Because I'm still nervous about that. I still like don't like how it does some stuff. But also I do a lot of front end stuff and AI still has a ways to go on the front end. Like I feel like back end stuff like in one shot.
Yep. Yep. I feel like especially if you are working off of like what you do a lot or used to do more of, Leah, but like if you're working off like a Figma file, I think there's still ways of doing it. And I'm curious I've played around a little bit with Tailwind's new UI.sh stuff that they've kind of been experimenting with, which kind of
I
is
want
more
to
of
try that.
agentic experience with working with AI. And Steve, can't think of his last name. Steve from Tailwind had a whole video. I think it's like an hour-long video of how to design with Claude, which was really good. Yeah, I think one of the things that I personally like, and one of the reasons I advocate for people to find their own flavor of how they like to build within AI, is once I started to really lean into, and shout out to Nuno Maduro for kind of like, I never, I think I have only written by hand, probably like 5 or 6 tests in my life. But because of AI, I have written hundreds of thousands of tests. And so it's one of those things where I think specifically for my flavor of like what I like to use within Livewire, I have PHP Stan to do static analysis. I have Pest to do any kind of testing. And then I have Laravel Rector to be able to kind of format things. And you can kind of see here, like we have like these use strict types. So it knows automatically that all of these testing pages should be strictly typed. And AI does better when it has constraints. And so you can see here, it was like, hey, we're all done. But then it ran PHP Stan and it was like, actually, we're not done. And so I like that this probably wouldn't have caused, and I kind of like you, maybe less than you, Leah, but like so I don't open up my code editor, but I try to read through every single thing that's doing, because I not so much of like trying to babysit it of is it gonna work? Because I think is it gonna work is what's the end result.
Yeah.
But I like to have my own appeal for like what it looks like in terms of like a DX. So like if this did a user question model or something like that, I'd be like, no, let's just make this a question instead. Like why are we doing that? So I think there's so many things that you can have more opinions on now with AI that you couldn't before.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it's like, because almost always it feels like it can create something that works. So it's more getting in the mind of thinking like, is this clean? For me, it's like, is this clean? Like, is this the best implementation?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're giving me something that works, but is this the implementation that I want, that won't have issues, that is like more reusable down the line?
Yeah.
And Zane said, I can't afford coding agents. So I usually write more than 50 lines per day.
Yeah, I am excited. I don't know when this is going to happen, but I think the more I think like we're going to slowly start seeing more and more like either local models that are still just as good that you can run without having incredible hardware, or even free models. One of the things that I think is awesome, and maybe like you've tried it out, Zane, is there's open code, which they have their own free models. It's not going to be Claude or anything like that, but like if I was to go into like their current free models, are Mimo, Minimax, and Nemotron, and they have there's still limits on course. You can't just use them for thousands and hundreds of tokens, but it's a great option, and you don't even have. I don't believe you even have to create an account to use the free models as well. So that might be something just to give it a try too, if you aren't already.
Also good call out. I want to answer real quick because Najib had asked, I really enjoy these sessions. When do you usually go live? They're not like for this one, it's not like a recurring one. I usually stream once to twice a week. So this week is this one. Next week I'll be doing a stream next Wednesday. So exactly a week from today at, let me check the time before I say it. A second.
I'm going to, while this is still going, I'm going to actually open up and start putting this onto Laravel Cloud. So one of the things I like to do if I'm building out something to like test a new, we'll call this Wyrd, a voting app for the stream. One of the things I like to do when building out an application, especially if I'm like using this as a way to either test something out or to try something new or just like a little demo application, I like to do that like first initial prompt. And then I like to get this like host it on Laravel Cloud as quickly as possible, because then it's so much easier to fix things if you have a working version on Laravel Cloud first, like on your hosting platform first. I think Laravel Cloud makes it incredibly easy to do that. So we'll say stream.
And the streams next week, I have one a week from today. So next Wednesday, that will also be a vibe coding stream. I'll actually be showing how to vibe code for non-developers. And that is an hour later than we started today. So at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time next Wednesday. And then I'll be doing cloud office hours with Devin at 11 a.m. ET or 9 a.m. MT next Friday. But those will also be shared on our social media as well. And sorry about that. Okay. Keep going, Josh.
No, all good. I know that I'm going to need a database. So in this case, I'm going to use, I'll probably use MySQL for this. And I know I'm going to need a WebSocket instance. I think that should be it. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to bump this up just because I don't know how many people are watching. And so just so we don't get
765 on all, so might as well be safe.
Yeah.
I will try to message you to remind you to bump it down after.
Thank you. I always forget that for demos, and then all of a sudden I'm paying a lot of money for something that's not being used right now.
Nope. Hi, Mark. Josh, is your birthday this weekend?
It is my birthday this weekend. It is Saturday is my birthday.
Happy early birthday. Mark asked, is Josh excited for his birthday this weekend?
I am excited. I don't think I'm doing well. My wife is planning on, it's not like a big birthday. I'm gonna be like, I don't know how old am I gonna be? I'm gonna be 32. So it's not like a big landmark birthday. But my wife is planning we're gonna do like there's like this place near us that has like extreme slides, like an indoor slide playground, but like it's for adults. So I think that's where we're going. Could you hide my screen real quick? I have Flux UI stuff that I need to drop into my.
You're hidden.
Sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, we have some happy birthday Joshes in chat.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that.
And then Mark said, I'm going to be at 30 exactly 1 week after Laracon US.
There you go.
I turned 29 at Laracon EU. And then Cyril had said to Zane, you could try Google Anti-Gravity. Their free tier is pretty generous, which I know they do have a free
that's
tier.
awesome. Okay, I'm good to share my screen again.
Bring you back.
So yeah, the one thing that I like to use in my starter kit is just personal preferences. I use Bun, and the cool thing is Laravel Cloud makes it so I can run Bun on my production environment.
I did not realize that. I guess I've never used Bun. That's really cool.
We should be able to deploy. Let's see what this looks like locally. I should be done. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. So I'm going to run. I'm just going to actually tell it in my composer run dev. Let's also add the reverb command. And let's see what it looks like. Because usually I am not, so like this, I would not call this particularly vibe coding, because vibe coding would be like, let's spin it up and then we're just done for the day. We're not even going to look at it and just figure. So I
Okay.
like my particular flavor of how I like to work with AI is like, okay, now let's do the actual tweaking of making this work properly. But first I'm going to deploy it. See how that works
See,
for
that's my
us.
thing. I don't think I've ever vibe coded. I'll call something vibe coding and it's just like me using AI because I can't just like have it give me something and me not want to change things.
Exactly. Let's see. There we go. NAN. Perfect. Would you rather? So this is what I'll use. I'll just take a screenshot of this and we'll say this is not right. Time remaining NAN loading question. And we'll see if like maybe it's because Reverb isn't going. Let's see.
Because this is our local one right now, right?
Yep. Looks like something's broken. Yeah, so this is the local instance. And I think the goal is like, okay, hey, we'll have I think there's a couple fun things that we'll do is we need the would you rather question. Who's light mode versus dark mode in the chat? I'm a funny one, where all my like my terminal, my editor, are all dark mode, but when it comes to websites, I prefer light mode.
And you said it doesn't even have to be the yellow light mode, right? You would like even the bright ones?
I like even the bright ones. So like I know GitHub has a dark mode, right? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure GitHub does dark mode.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think I use like my X's light mode. Yes, I just prefer
Right.
light mode. I know. Sorry everyone for the flashbang.
Next said I'm the same as Josh. I'm with Bruna. I'm dark mode. I was telling because I remember Josh talking about this when we had Joe Dixon on for the cloud anniversary stream, and they were both light mode. I'm dark mode to the point where I even have my Kindle Paperwhite in dark mode. And I was
There you go.
reading like at like 4 in the morning. I was reading it on dark mode, and eventually I had to switch it to yellow mode. But I can't do pure white. It like burns my retinas. I like the yellowish light mode. And I think I prefer that for my Kindle now because of my eyes, but in general I like dark mode better. And then Najib said my editor is dark and my browser light mode, which sounds like Josh.
Yep. My browser light mode. But my phone is dark mode, surprisingly. So like everything on my phone is dark mode.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just I'm not I can't be bothered to be put into one hole, I guess.
Yeah, Bruno, it's interesting though because I think it was like scientifically proven that light mode's supposed to be better for astigmatisms, but I have astigmatisms in both eyes, and dark mode is better for me on some things. Like I'll get headaches from light mode, but like I said, it's like the super bright light mode. I can do the yellow bright mode, so don't know.
All right. Let's see. I'm curious of like I'm guessing that either we're not loading up the question properly because we're not getting any browser error. So yeah, it looks like this would be a good time to say like make sure we use the Laravel best practices skill.
Yeah. Which is the one we mentioned a little bit earlier. It's brand new, released today. I'm really excited to use it. It's just a great time for it to launch because we could use it right now, like you are.
Yeah. Be like, hey, it'll fix it in one. Yeah, and so this is when I already kind of have this one going, so I'm going to clear that. But I want, I probably am going to just say, in the top right, I would like, and I might even do this on like the full page. to be a badge that shows the number of people active on the site. We can probably use session or IP tracking, whatever we are using to ensure. Oh, there we go. Whatever did it started to fix it.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, the weird part about the API is look, it successfully loaded that Laravel best practices skill, and that just fixed everything for me.
Thank you.
I was testing this API specifically last night, and the interesting part about the API is it just returns the question with the answers all in one string, so we have to parse it. And I think it didn't test that out.
Yeah, because it's like, now let me test out the parsing.
Yeah, there we go. So it could be like that. I asked it to use Laravel best practices. I also told it to create an artisan command to test the API as well, which kind of like neat little tidbit that I have learned in like the last couple of months is tests work great for agents, but it's not like you don't get negative points if you have 1,000 artisan commands. Agents do a really good job at creating their own PHP artisan commands that they can use. So like, let's say you want to test how I get a would you rather question from an API. Yes, that's a good place to use a test, but then also like, let's say something changes in your UI code that's not perfect for that kind of unit test anymore. An artisan command is great because then it should know how to call that as well. So it's just kind of like a good fallback for it.
We've used those a good amount, and when we were doing the marketing sites too, like I think we definitely had artisan commands for the Laravel wrap project, and I know we did when we were working on like the community and blog site as well.
All right, looks like it started fixing that up. I'm curious.
Hi, Florian. You are late. You should have had your bot remind you when we started stream. No, you're good, Florian. Thank you for showing up.
Go paste this in here to kind of test local time. We'll say option A.
Oh, yeah, okay, looks looking good. Did it make the badge? Oh wait, you weren't able to add that annotation, right? Because it updated it.
Yeah, but I did not add the annotation yet. Okay, so we have let's see. Looks like the timer seems to be synced. It's not perfect when I open up a new tab or new browser instance. Also, when I vote on one browser, I do not see that reflected. I don't know if we're actually using PHP artisan reverb start. Let's see. No. So we are. It is already being used. It's probably do have it spun up here. Yeah, there we go.
Said, dude is making a quiz app in 30 minutes. We are in an AI world.
I do not see that reflected. Even after refreshing, so I don't know if that vote is being persisted. So let's get functionality working correctly, and then I'm going to tweak the UI because there's some things I want to tweak about that specifically. It's like I refresh and the time didn't go. I'm curious if there's another question that pops up after this time remaining. So the goal is once we get this live, people in the chat can then answer these would you rathers, and we can see who would rather what the majority vote is. Okay, so did do a new question that stopped the timer. Perfect. So at the end of 60 seconds, we did get a new question, but the timer kind of just stopped at 59 seconds after the question was reset. selecting an answer did update the timer, but it
Froze
did
it,
not
right?
continue. Yeah, counting down afterwards.
Florian, Josh did deploy it to cloud. I think you just went through the UI though, right?
I just went through the UI. So we do, Laravel Cloud does have a CLI. I am just used to spinning it up with the UI. So you can have your agent deployed. It looks like we have a
failed.
We'll fail. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'm with Florian. Boring. I say that, but I haven't used the CLI yet. I did a live stream with Joe Tannenbaum on the Cloud CLI, 2 weeks ago, I think? Just let me share that link. I definitely want to play around with the CLI though, because it looks really cool. And I like that it, if you already have the GitHub, the GH CLI installed, then if you use the Cloud CLI and you don't have your project pushed up to GitHub yet, it will prompt you to deploy that or create a repository for it on GitHub just from the Cloud CLI, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, so in production, we do have a Laravel Echo fail, which I don't know if we, so that might be the reason why it's not working properly in local as well.
I see. Roll up, fail to import from Laravel Echo. That's what it said, right?
Yeah, which is interesting. So I'm imagining this is like one of those instances where I like to dive into the code. I know, like a true caveman. But in app.js, yeah, we're not. So we have Echo.
We're testing it locally, Florian. He says searching for the cloud URL now.
No, it's not. It's me. It is not cloud for sure. Yeah, we're testing it locally right now. The neat part is I already built this last night. So at the very least, it looks a lot better, and we can spin that up on Laravel Cloud too for running short on time. Is this still working? Watch Claude just crash on me. That would be the
The desktop version was down earlier today.
I did see that. Okay, this is doing something now.
Okay, let's go. Fingers crossed. I got fingers and toes crossed.
There you go.
I'll cross my dog's paws for you too. Oh, there was a question.
I might have also just deployed this at the wrong time when we were still installing.
I could have been that.
When we had already imported it, but we didn't run bun install for all those things. Because if I go see git, yeah, we have package.json and bun lock.
Oh, and they haven't been committed?
Yeah.
Okay, that could be it.
I'm just going to whip this. Whip it.
Whip it.
Does anyone have any fun aliases that they use? So I took this from Taylor Otwell. It's a whip command, and it adds everything and makes a commit message and then whip. Funny enough, I know a lot of people have like PA for PHP Artisan. I literally type out PHP Artisan every single time I do it.
I think PA is what Joe has. Joe T. He has some get alias or some alias for PHP Artisan.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never used it. And so I think I had it at one point. I think I had PA or even just A or something like that for PHP Artisan. And I would type it out, the full thing every single time.
Mark has a good one. He said nah, which is get reset hard.
There you go.
And he said he got it from Caleb Porzio. And then art is PHP Artisan. Wait, someone said PHP Artisan's A. Mark said art is PHP Artisan.
See, art is going. I could see that. I feel like I'm used to it so much at this point, like running PHP Artisan. I know that's a lot of letters to type, but
I'm used to it too.
oh no, I'm using 90% of my session limit.
Um,
There we go.
Someone had asked, you kind of answered this, but someone had asked earlier. I was trying to find the question in chat, but now I can't. Someone had asked about the starter kits. Oh, there it is. About the starter kits. Do you guys know when when they're going to be available with the Teams features? So excited, which Josh said should be in a couple weeks. So they are coming soon. Which are the starter kits that were announced at Laracon EU. And then when Inertia has its stable release, the starter kits will be updated with Inertia v3 in them.
So we're getting somewhere. We have the timer and votes in sync across tabs, but it's not unique for the vote. I can vote in 2 tabs, which should not be the case. One
You even
user
said that twice before and it just ignored it.
yeah, they're like, oh. It's like, oh, you didn't really mean that, right? One user should only be able to vote on their device once per question. Okay, let's see if so that's looking pretty good. So this is when I would start to once functionality gets into place, this is when I like to start looking at one, seeing if I can break it, and then 2 is when I start doing some like more little UI changes. The first thing I can think of, and I can take votes in the comment too, is I want to have a section up here that says like how many people are live. So not even just voting, but like 15 people are watching this or something like that. That'd be fun because we can use Reverb for that. Next, I want to see past votes, like a thing of like, hey, last question. I'm going to mostly base off a lot of the UI from this Theo T3.gg made this thing called Quip Slop. Fun little thing to see, but is basically like AI voting on who's funnier. I am going to shamelessly try to copy this UI, or have AI try to copy this UI, because I think, but we'll make it in light mode because I'm the one running it. Bruno, I am still using Arc, but you type PHP artisan like a caveman, so like, well, that's good. I saw Steve, you say MFS. I have seen a lot of that. Well, for some funny enough, I do not use seeders as much as I probably should. Even within AI, like I just do my own almost.
I never run my seeders like that. I do use seeders, especially I feel like I use them a lot with the marketing site, which now we have a lovely marketing web team at Laravel who does the marketing sites, and I'm now doing live streams and more DevRel stuff. But a week or 2 ago, I did open up a PR against the marketing site. I don't even remember what it was for. I think it was for the blog or something, or it was for the community site. And for that, we use seeders a lot. And I always just do PHP artisan DB :seed. Like I never chain running the seeders with migrate fresh. Like I would run them as 2 separate commands. I don't know why.
I do use seeders if I'm dealing with a lot of data that I need to visually see everything.
Like we did for wrapped, right?
Yeah, like for wrap, you definitely need to use a seeder. Like for this application, for example, I probably wouldn't need a seeder because like I don't need to seed a whole bunch of votes to see what that looks like. I mean, if it gets like 1,000 votes, it's probably going to break some UI and not look that good. But that kind of stuff is not as important, I would think, in my mind. I'm curious what it's going to do now. Session based.
Najib had a question. Can Reverb be used to track and display whether a user is online or offline, similar to WhatsApp?
Yeah, so you can. There we go. It's working now. Sweet. Now we can go into the perfect. Yes, you can. So that's one of the things that there's a bunch of different ways, and I know this mostly because I created a video almost 2 years ago now. It's a long time. It's at reverb.joshcirre.com. If everyone goes there right now, hopefully it doesn't break this app. But it's pretty neat because you can see when people, so reverb.joshcirre.com, you can see when new active users are alive on the site. And this is running like an old version of Laravel and Livewire. And so, yeah, you can kind of see some visual cursors on the page as well. And so you can see when someone else is turning on or off this particular toggle switch. This is all happening based off of session identifiers within Laravel Reverb. So in the sense that when you Reverb has two ways of doing broadcasting elements. So if we take a look at broadcasting within Laravel, Laravel has a way of broadcasting an individual user for a user channel or presence channel. So if you are authenticated, it's a little bit easier because then you can say, oh, this is user active. This is when you would use like a Slack or a WhatsApp kind of thing. If this user active, online, ready, available, presence channels are great for that. But Reverb still can do something like this, where we see active users because I am checking if this tab is open on a user's page, I'm going to count that particular session as a user and keep it in this active toggle. And so that's what I want for like this new app that we're building here, where I want, where I'm going to say for this would you rather, I want, in the top right, I would like a viewing element to show how many people are active live on the site, not just how many people are voting or have voted, but we can use the IP or session based like we are with the rest of the site. On the right sidebar, I would love to see history of all questions and then the winning answer for each question based on popular vote. I don't know if I like this would you rather, and it's like vacation. It doesn't look, I want the whole question and then I want the answer. Like, I feel like, so like, that's when I would probably say, like for this particular element, let's have the whole question with the answers in the question and then show the answer. The timer should move maybe to the top. Okay, so I'm going to take all this. I'm going to go into my terminal and just kind of paste this in. But then I'm also going to kind of take a screenshot of this because I want this. But I'd like the UI to look like this, quipslop.com, but in light mode only. So no user preference, dark mode. Sorry, everyone. And the sidebar should be the past questions. Sweet. But just to make sure we're doing this live, let's see if this works in Laravel Cloud as well.
Yeah. Did we try redeploying? Yeah, and that did work. So was it because we didn't have the updated button lock and stuff pushed up?
Yeah, we didn't
Okay.
have the updated button lock. So I think it was in a weird state of when I had committed after it was starting to implement Reverb, but before we had actually installed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it had like, hey, we're going to use Echo. And I was like, Echo doesn't actually exist. Before that, I should probably make this a easier domain. So people can actually access it. So don't go to this one yet. We'll call it Wyrd Live. There you go.
Little play on
play.
words. I love that.
Would you rather live?
Wyrd dash, right? Dash live.
Dash live. Yep. It'll be live in like 2 minutes. Everyone in the chat, has anyone not used Laravel Reverb? So I feel like I've used it for so many projects. It's so nice to be able to do. But has anyone not been able to use that yet?
How long has Reverb technically been out? Like 2 years?
I think maybe even. I do remember I did make a video for the Laravel Reverb 1.0 launch. So at least from 1.0, it has been like a year and a half, probably. I think it was around August, maybe, or no, September.
It might have been. Was it like Laracon EU?
Whenever I built this was, yes. Right. I think that was when
US Joe Dixon did the talk about Reverb and flew the drone out of the box.
Flew the drone in 2024, and that was still before Reverb 1.0 had launched, technically.
Okay.
If you want to see how we built this particular demo as well, it should be, if you search for Reverb Laravel on YouTube, it should be, hopefully I don't like dox myself with this, but Reverb Laravel on YouTube, it should be, there's a bunch of great Laravel Reverb, but I think it's a tutorial would be one, is that particular, this one right here. Build a real-time web app with Laravel Reverb. It's a whole hour, so dedicate some time. We actually type all the code by hand.
Boring.
I still think that like almost whenever this was launched. So this was July of 2024 when Reverb. So July 2024, I think was Reverb was 1.0. And I think I still use technically AI to help with a lot of this, even in 2024. Okay, let's see. Do we have this live? Perfect. Let's see. So Wyrd-live.
Oh, we're so live. Okay.
We're so live. Would you rather be an amazing security guard or a terrible FBI agent?
Wait, we're so live. We're wired live.
Wyrd.
It allows me to have this bad of jokes. But wyrd-live.laravel.cloud. That is the link. If you go there now, you'll be able to see this with us. I would be bad at both of these.
You'd be bad at being a terrible FBI agent?
And I'd be bad at being an amazing security guard. I love how it says BB and amazing.
Has a nice little animation there. I do not like these colors, so hopefully whatever the initial spin up is, and then we'll tweak it and have some taste a little bit more.
Why did it pick those? And look at like the two colors compared to the timer. How that's like red.
Yeah, I do not like that.
That's right, Florian. We can all play Would You Rather together. You're not in a little silo.
You can't resell. $20. I feel like jewelry can be resold. I feel like you can resell jewelry better than, like, if I had $20,000 worth of jewelry, I could probably sell it for $30,000.
But if I had $10,000 worth of electronics, it'd probably just be stuff I'd use anyway.
Depends on the electronics. It's like
Oh, do
It's
you not get
just
the
a circuit
pit?
board, like $10,000 worth of a circuit board or something like that.
Okay, I guess jewelry then. I'll go with your logic because I'm assuming they're just gonna give us this that like we can't pick what it is.
Let's see if
Yeah,
it's
get
still spinning
$10,000 a
this up.
gram.
Looks like jewelry is the winner for that one. Sleep without a blanket or without pillows? Ooh, without a blanket, but for sure.
I cannot sleep without a blanket. I'm sleeping without pillows. If you have a blanket, you can put a blanket as a pillow. You can't use pillows as a blanket. Oh, here's a question.
Most people agree with you, though.
Right? I mean, honestly. But Bruce G said, "Hey, this is a bit off topic. Where did you learn Laravel and what roadmap helped you reach your level? I'm 20 and learning coding. What should I focus on to improve faster? Thanks."
It's great. I'll answer mine and then you can answer yours, Leah. I learned Laravel by just building applications that I wanted to build. I didn't like, I of course I watched a whole bunch of tutorials and like we have, a whole bunch of tutorials on our Laravel YouTube. There's tutorials on laracast.com, which is fantastic, free ones as well. There's laravel.com/learn, which I just learned that there's some issues with some of the getting started with Laravel pages. And so I'm going to check that today. But my personal thing and what I want to try to encourage anyone to do is, even if it's just something as, this looks like trash so far. Even if it is just as something as simple as, where's my Wyrd? There we go. Even something as simple as this application. I mean, in all reality, like something like this is simple, but it also forces you to think through things of like, okay, how are we going to do X, Y, or Z? How am I going to make sure that this is that people can't vote 30,000 times on something? Or how am I going to make sure that it doesn't just crash when it goes to 0? Like behind the scenes, what this is doing, because I saw it briefly in the AI, is it's using a scheduler, or sorry, an artisan command to pick a question every 60 seconds. So it's essentially a queued job that spins up every 60 seconds to pick a new question. And all of this could be done on the client. It could be done on the server. But if it's a question like this, I feel very bad for voting for this. I kind of like half read it.
And then I felt guilted and I clicked the other one. I could not live with my family for 20 years, but I felt bad going no contact.
Yeah. I saw this and I was like, nope, not that. And as I was talking, so don't judge me, everyone, please. But it is Would You Rather, and everyone is really judging me because I'm the only one that voted for this.
I should have. If I knew you were gonna do it, I would have.
But yeah, I think finding ways to learn Laravel then becomes, oh, I know what Laravel Reverb is. It's a real-time thing that I can do X, Y, or Z. I know what this particular element is. I know what this particular element is. I know what this package does. And it's learning when you would use those particular elements instead of just going on the fly.
I hit no for that question. I'm not making it in prison. I don't care if I'm rich after. I'm not making it in prison.
No, I think I can make it in prison.
I can't.
my last words.
I'm also from Florida. Me in a Florida prison would not work. My answer for how I learned Laravel. So I learned Mernstack, and I did a boot camp to learn web development like 5 years ago now, 4 years ago now. But whenever I started getting to Laravel, we were using it for my job. So I did the OG Laravel boot camp that Jess Archer built, which was Chirper. It's basically the same idea as the Laravel bootcamp that we have on laravel.com/learn. So I did that little course and then I just started building applications with Laravel. So I rebuilt some of my old projects from using MongoDB, Express, and Node.js on the back end to then use Laravel and use Inertia.js for it as well. and I just started building projects like Josh was saying, and I posted about them on Twitter and stuff like that. And I started learning about Reverb and just building with it and streaming as I was building with it so that people were able to come in and kind of help me and give me pointers and stuff. But that's how I learned Laravel, kind of like what Josh said, just start building with it. I will say in like the era of AI that we're in now, I would probably recommend still handwriting a lot of code, especially as you're learning things before you just start utilizing AI more. Like try to handwrite things and then use AI to maybe tweak it, especially if you're stuck, or like ask AI to explain things to you. But I probably wouldn't rely on it writing all the at least like if you're just trying to build a website, sure. But if you're trying to learn Laravel to get a job with Laravel, I would try to like handwrite more and make sure you understand it more. Also, you said you're also learning the MERN stack. That is what I started with. So learning the MERN stack, you can definitely pivot from that to using Laravel or Java or anything on the back end as well. And it's easy to kind of carry over. I actually feel like using Laravel, using like React, Inertia, Laravel, and Tailwind is easier than the MERN stack, at least like for me. So once I started getting into Laravel, I was really excited. Okay. I see Josh is tweaking some UI stuff because I think it's bothering him. So he's tweaking that with Instruct.
It doesn't see how long you would have to walk on burning hot coals.
And
Yeah,
a
I
Lego
think
factory.
like I think our application is getting there. I'm just doing like some final things. It's not exactly how I would like it. But it's getting there a little bit. And so the neat part is then I think this is when
That
you as
looks
an
good.
individual can start to have like a little bit more, I don't know, feeling or taste in terms of like, I still don't like the purple and pink. I don't want those
Mhm.
colors. And I'm probably going to ask it to change to more of like, I don't know, blue or green or something like that.
I wonder if the or in between should be like in all caps or something to make it easier. It is grayed. You see in the question, the or up top.
Yeah,
Wonder if we should like all caps it or something to make it stick out a little bit more.
yeah.
Like OR.
It's probably a good idea.
Um, yes, we had a question too, Najib. What tech stack do you recommend for building general websites? And I think my exact stack is the same answer as Florian, which is Laravel, Inertia, React, and then hosted on Laravel Cloud. Like that is my exact stack for all of my side projects. I do also like building stuff with just a Blade and Alpine JS front end sometimes, but I'd say like the stack I'd recommend the most would probably be React, Inertia, Laravel, Tailwind, hosted on Laravel Cloud. Hi, Will. Yeah. Will was like, wow, is work really more important than me? I'm sorry, Will.
Hey, Will, sorry. uh you were out of town last week, so that's on you.
To be fair, I tried to schedule it earlier, and then before we went live, Josh was like, we can go over. We could even go 45 minutes over, which we have. We are now at like 2 hours.
Overnight in a haunted asylum. I feel like that's an easy answer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's broken. The roller coaster is broken. You're gonna die.
Yeah, like
You're not making it.
I'm not dying in I'm $2,000 richer and not dead.
Yeah,
That's an easy one.
you don't even gain anything on the other one. You just go on it and die.
No, all their secrets were. I don't know. That's an interesting one.
Oh, the live site stopped? Oh, it did. It did. It says it's just waiting for next question on the live one.
I think this is the live one.
I think that's
You
your
might have to
local.
refresh because I might have to do a hard refresh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, refresh, Florian. Mine was the same way.
Because we updated some UI stuff.
Yep, I see that.
It was a little better. Not as bad.
Yeah, he redeployed.
I'm going to have it cheat and use the UI that I did last night.
Okay. Florian's like, it's so bright. I agree. It's very, very fluorescent to my eyeballs. Oh, wait. Diago had a question. For you personally, how much do you rely on AI in real world products and where does it help the most? How do you use AI with Laravel given Artisan already handles much of the boilerplate? Do you want to answer, Josh, or you want me to answer while you're doing this?
I think for me personally, it helps with being able to run things quicker.
Mhm.
So in terms of like being able to scaffolding out something like this, I'd like to think, and maybe maybe I'm out of my depth a little bit in the sense of, let me refresh this just so I know. Maybe I'm out of my depth a little bit and like I am a little bit oblivious, but I would like to think, given like an hour, 2 hours, I could probably still code all of this that we just made by hand. But being able to do it while like talking to all of you and not writing a single thing it's fun for me because I get to then just say, hey, this is my little app idea. Let's make it happen. So yeah, I think for me personally, where it helps the most is being able to put me into the seat of being a problem solver rather than being a syntax writer. And I've always liked that part better. For those of you who like writing syntax, like I'd say Laravel still is great, and still you can use AI for other parts like problem solving, maybe.
Mhm.
So yeah, I like both options. Not just in your question, but here.
Oh, I'm like nodding and I'm like, what options?
I have a
Lose your
Tesla,
key.
so I can't lose my cell phone because that is my keys.
Yeah, we can unlock our Mazda with our cell phone. If I lose my cell phone, I'm gone.
I'm gone.
It's over. Just take me. Um, and we use AI a lot when building things at Laravel. Like I used AI a lot for the marketing sites. Of course, it's like Josh showed, like reviewing everything AI gives you, so still keeping that quality there, but using it just to work quickly and get things shipped in a quick turnaround. Like we used AI, we used Boost, we used Laravel MCP for the Laravel Wrap project, and I don't think without AI that we would have been able to get the Laravel Wrap done within the timeline we had, because the timeline was like a week basically. Like I think the front end was done in like 4 days, and I don't think we'd be able to have the like we would have had something done, but I don't think it would have been what we finished in that time with AI. And there were questions about hosting too. Um, the BRPC said typically Laravel sites require a VM or cloud hosting provider. What would your recommendation be for deploying a static site generated in Laravel, something akin to Astro? Which I haven't used Astro.
Yeah, I think so like for example, you could still host a static site on Laravel Cloud for
Mhm,
incredibly cheap. I think
mhm,
it's less about thinking through something like that question and more about thinking through, okay, how are you going to make that happen? So for example, if you cached everything within Cloudflare or just like with PHP Artisan cache, like within a database, but if you're just doing like a static file, like especially with like something like hibernation or like hard caching for it, like even
mhm.
all of our static
Like
like
the
we don't have
markings.
too many static sites anymore in Laravel, but all those are still Laravel applications.
Mhm.
Um, and I think for me personally, the only reason I would always choose Laravel, and this is everyone, like it's not just because I work here, but the only reason I would choose Laravel for a static site is because you never know when you're going to need, oh, let me do a background job within an API where I then update my static site. And now all of a sudden you have two applications that you're managing. Like I like having the ability to have that option right out the gate.
Especially like for me, because I've rebuilt a lot of my stack sites using Laravel, like even like my portfolio. Say I just want a portfolio site, and at first I just want to have my name and socials. Well, who's to say I'm not going to come back later and want to add like a blog to that, like on that same site, or add something else built into it. So I'd rather just already have it in Laravel so I can do that, like Josh was saying. So also like preference, like I just enjoy writing and building like Laravel applications. But for all of them, I host them on Laravel Cloud, like Florian said as well, just because it feels the most on par with like whenever I just had JavaScript applications, I would host them on like Netlify, and hosting something on Laravel Cloud is just as easy as that. And it's like fine tuned for Laravel applications. So you don't like it, if you add in like a database and stuff, it already puts in those credentials to your env file for you. It's really easy to enable inertia ssr. It's easy to add like Octane. It just makes it easier. You don't have to worry about your own servers and hosting and stuff like that, like if you wanted to use something like Forge. And then we also, I think 2 weeks ago, we introduced a free trial for Laravel Cloud. So if you go to cloud.laravel.com and you sign up today, you can get started with a $5 credit. And Josh made a lovely video for kind of how to get started with the $5 credit. So how long does $5 last on Laravel Cloud? And I'll share that as well. There's that YouTube video link.
Always speak all your thoughts out loud or never speak at all, not even in sign language.
Oh, I can't speak some of my thoughts.
That's why I was like, I can at least like text. Like,
yeah, we could mime stuff too.
Yeah, you can.
We could mime like the L for Laravel.
I could be like, I could have like, yeah. That's not sign language.
Cause like I have the thoughts where it's like, you know, like when you're going through TSA or something, you're like, oh my gosh, what if there's something in my bag I don't know that's in my bag? If I spoke all my thoughts out loud, people think I'm crazy. Cause it's just like worm stuff. I can't do that.
10-day free vacation dining destination.
Win 5,000.
I don't know. That is a tough one. That's a tough would you rather. $5,000 shopping spree at any store.
Any
That's
store.
like, yeah.
It could even
Apple.
be a tech store. It could be Apple. It could be a Microsoft store. It could man, what is it? We have a micro center. It could be a micro center.
Ooh, let me go. I still gotta do the vacation one though.
I think I'm doing shopping spree.
Because I could get paid time off. Like then on 10 days.
Oh, true.
Paid time off. That's assuming I have paid time off available.
Yeah.
Or that I'm not working. Let's add in a dark mode toggle.
Thank
for
you.
Florian.
Yeah. For Florian, I think Bruno, someone else was asking for it.
And
They're
Bruno.
like, please.
I wonder if AI is gonna like see this, be like, oh, okay, when a user called Florian like enters,
it makes you like enter what your name is, and it only does dark mode for Florian. Snort mustard. Oh, the cinnamon thing is so bad. Does anyone remember the cinnamon challenge? I think you had to like snort cinnamon for the challenge. Does anyone remember that? Because I did it when I was young and it was bad.
Snort cinnamon.
Yeah. I guess I'll eat cinnamon. I was really close to choosing snort mustard. And yeah, you could also self-host as well. I know I always go for the easier deployment options. I do kind of want to play around with like, I don't know, some of the harder ones just so I have more of that knowledge. And like I know how to do it. Like I've at least done it once, but oh yeah, the challenge is to eat a tablespoon of cinnamon without water and not cough. Okay, that was it. I think yeah, it was bad. I wonder if that's what the would you rather one was talking about too, but it didn't specify, so I'm going to assume we could have water. Ooh, the layer one's a good question. If you're an evil mastermind, would you rather have your layer be underwater or on the side of a cliff?
Ooh. Side of a cliff.
Well, underwater.
Underwater would be cool, but then there's a lot of like logistics that have to go into that. Like, what happens if like you like the whatever process you use to get back above ground to normal life, or that just dies someday?
I mean, but if you're clumsy and your layer's in the side of a cliff, I'm falling off that cliff. Like, I know it.
Comically oversized head or comically large feet? The
My head's
feet's
already
easier to
big.
hide. You can work with feet. I can't wear hats anymore if I have a comically oversized.
Yeah, but then you might be like popular because you're like a real life bobblehead, you know?
A real life bobblehead.
I chose head. I already have a big head. Might as well.
All right, I'm gonna put up these dark mode fixes for everyone, and I think we're in a pretty good spot for this. It's fun to be able to build something like this. This is fun. I like this.
No, it was fun. And you built it really quick, and getting to see you use Instruct to tweak it on the fly and like change the UI up was really nice. Google Glass? What is that? Also, option A is putting like the whole question in with the option.
Oh, this one? That's interesting.
Yeah, you see it? It did it on the last one too.
I bet the comma threw it off.
Oh, yeah, probably. Let's see. Bruno had a question. By the way, you added Instruct in your app.js. Is imported in production too.
It is technically imported, like but it is not it's kind of like because it's a Vite plugin. We should be able to refresh. Yeah. Do a hard refresh for anyone who is on the live site, and now you will have your dark mode. There we go.
I love it.
But so it is imported, so like you do have, but it's not actually used because it is bundled with Vite, and so it's imported in app.js, but it's not actually used unless you're in local environment. Completely alone on an island or be over.
I did alone on an island.
That makes sense. I'll take it.
Let's see.
Eat a spoonful of cinnamon or snort mustard. People said eat a spoonful of cinnamon.
Yeah. The mastermind one was a tie. Oh, this one's bad. Eat all of the carpet or all the wood and tiles in your house.
Wow. The API that I chose, this is a little bit of a tangent, but the API that I chose or I found for this, I had to specify PG rating because there was PG-13 and R rating as well. And so these are all PG ones, if that makes sense.
They're still wild.
I think I have more wood. I think I have more carpet than wood and tiles.
Oh, I barely have carpet. I guess I'm eating carpet.
I don't know.
Bruno had again, as a follow-up, can we prevent it to be bundled in production, or is it another PR?
I could be wrong. At least like when I mentioned it or when I talked it through with AI, I could be wrong, but I think that the way that Vite uses like an npm run build, for example, in production, it's not actually bundled in production. So if your findings are different than that, definitely, yeah, create a PR or let me know and I'll fix it myself too. But I believe it's not bundled in production because of how Vite's plugin works. A rich but stupid footballer. So this is an API not from America. Or a genius but poor scientist. Okay, but like, are you poor and you could be rich?
I'm gonna take it that way. You're poor for now. Because I chose
this
scientist.
one. You're famous. This one, you are famous for being poor, I guess. I don't know.
I just don't want to be a footballer. My body can't handle it.
that's the funny thing.
My body just can't handle it. Let's see. But yeah, this has been fun. I really like this little app. Little cute.
Oh, that's an easy answer.
What's that? Why would you have blue tea?
Yeah, that's I guess like it's unique for sure, but that'd be a tough one.
Oh, someone said, "What's Josh? What's up with the website? It is Livewire, right? It feels like React View." Which yes, this website's Livewire.
It is all Livewire, and that's the cool part. So if we were to go into our resources views, I think it's all on just one page right now. Yeah, we have our vote.blade.php, and so all of this is Livewire. So we have options, we have our questions, we have a refresh viewer count, but all of this is just pure Livewire with like our on Livewire event broadcasting. And then I believe there's probably a bunch of, so we do have some Alpine data. I wonder if it did write a script tag for us. Nope. So it is just using kind of like in X data Alpine. A lot of this we could probably have it, and this is something that if I was maintaining this app long term and I was like, oh, we're going to add a lot more features to this, one of the things that I would do is then not only do I have AI look through it, I would personally look through all of my code and say, okay, this, for example, is probably better if we exported this to its own script tag. And within Livewire 4, you can have it be its own like vote.js, which would then get imported to this vote.blade.php file. And so that's probably what I would do for this, just to make this a little bit easier to understand what's happening within this JavaScript. But yeah, I do agree with you. Like it feels really, really nice, right? Like you wouldn't expect this to not be a Vue or Reactor, for example. I'm already ugly, so might as well be rich too.
I did hesitate, but I was like, if you're rich and it bothers you enough, you can just get plastic surgery.
That is true.
You know?
Like this one's way easier to work with.
Yeah.
This one.
That one's harder.
Yeah, if this is the only thing going for you too, like I don't know if you're gonna make it. That NGMI.
You're not guaranteed to, yeah.
Does anyone else have any other questions? It's been fun being able to hang out. Oh, Bruno said, what about Blaze?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like technically, so my starter kit does have Blaze implemented into it already. So we go into like Composer JSON, we already have Livewire Blaze. Where Livewire Blaze is going to shine is probably not in an application like this. Livewire Blaze, for everyone who's interested in it, is Livewire. Is it just Blaze? Livewire Blaze. Let's see what it is. I know they have a site for it too. Yeah, Blaze PHP. There we go.
GitHub. Oh, okay.
BlazePHP.dev. And where Blaze really shines is probably not in an application like this, is when you have a list of, and maybe, no, I don't think these are individual components. But for example, if each of these round components, if each of these was a modal, and I could click into this and see the actual breakdown of how many people chose the other question, or what that breakdown looked like, then that's where Blaze could really shine, because Blaze takes components that you have an insane number of, and it compiles it in a way that it makes it extremely fast, because it's not trying to load up that component in memory every single time. For this application, we don't have that many components on the page. Like we have, I think, just two, like this voting component and then this page component afterwards. Gotcha. Did we break it?
The app? Did we?
No, I don't think we did.
No, it's still showing to me. Oh, I'd rather drink the same thing.
drink the same. I don't know. Depends on the meal though. But I think I agree with you.
I mean, you just have a million Coke Zeros or Diet
Yeah,
Coke, you know.
just Diet Coke every single time.
But yeah, thank you so much, Josh, for coming on the stream, for doing this lovely demo. I told you an hour, we're at 2.5 hours.
I'm okay with it. I don't know if Will's okay with it, but I'm okay with it.
I'm sorry, Will. Please direct all complaints to Josh and not Leah. I'll like go to Twitter. Will will have like unfollowed me, blocked me.
Oh man.
Oh, there's one more question about Blaze. Is Blaze good for class-based components? Have you used Blaze yet?
Class-based component. I think it works fine with class-based components. Again, yeah. So I think it works for class-based components, and I guess like what you're saying is probably like traditional Livewire components where you have multi-file components, where you have more of like the where you have a live like a app Livewire and you have a component in here, like for your components directory. It still works great for those, but it's specifically Blaze is specific for Blade components more so than Livewire components, but it is built out of the box for anything like Livewire Flux. So where Blaze shines is less in like, doesn't really matter if it's class based or single file or multi-file or anything like that. Blaze shines well, and Caleb Porzio actually has his own Laravel Worldwide stream where he kind of walks through all of it as well, which is great. But where Blaze really shines is if you have more than, let's say, 10 components that are looped through on a page. So anytime you're like doing like a, let's say like a data table where you have lists of users and each user has its own modal to edit that user in Livewire, you're looping through hundreds of thousands of components because each user has 5 components. Let's say you have 100 users. That's when Blaze really shines.
I did pin that. This link, the YouTube link I just pinned and shared in chat, is for the Laravel Worldwide live stream where they launched Blaze. So Caleb did a Blaze demo, and it was like the day they launched it. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, last minute questions about Instruct, drop them in chat. But we'll go ahead and start wrapping up. So thank you so much, Josh, for the explaining what Instruct is, how it was built using Laravel MCP and a Laravel Boost skill, and then kind of like the reason why you built Instruct, as well as a lovely demo of just creating an app from scratch and using Instruct to tweak the UI. Are there any like last minute things you want to say about Instruct or even building with AI or anything?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, you know, the whole reason why, and it seems like there's other people who like using Instruct. Like it's, I never built my own really packages or applications until really this year when especially with AI, where I'm like, hey, this is something that I want. And so now I'm building it. So I think one of the biggest things I'll kind of like encourage people to do is as you're building ideas and applications, think through those things of like, oh, this would be 1% easier for me if I had this. And then like have that be a way for you to learn a new thing with AI. Like maybe like, you know, for a silly little application like this, like maybe you want to build something with Reverb for the first time and event broadcasting. And even if you're not touching the code by hand and you're watching what AI is actually doing and then looking through the code afterwards, I think you can still learn a lot about like what Reverb does and where event broadcasting comes in and where live, live updating and stuff comes in. Like all of that is just comes down to like you figuring out how things work in your own personal preferences too. So that's the biggest thing I think when you're using it with AI. Find what works good for you and then just keep building with it.
No, 100%. And then also, I know you've answered it like a little bit because Bruno was asking about PRs, but if anyone finds like certain issues or has ideas for things you could add to Instruct, where would be the best place to create an issue or to create a PR? And then where can people find you when you're not here? I know you work for Laravel, so you're always popping up too, but hypothetically they couldn't.
So if you have anything that you're wanting to like add to the underlying Instruct. So like it's a little trickier just because I wanted everything to be in 2 packages so that there was less complexity if you're wanting to use it outside of Laravel. But the Instruct package, so Josh Cirre /Instruct on GitHub, is specifically for the JavaScript layer. So that is, I would say, probably for 90% of anything that you're wanting to do within the package. Like if you create a pull request there, I can review it. I've already merged a couple of them, as well as like there's some that that I'm looking through. Like this one will invoke a CLI host right from the thing, which would be pretty cool. But if you're wanting to do anything within the Laravel package, that's at Instruct-Laravel, which is essentially like if it's related to the MCP package, if it's related to like the skill within Laravel, or if it's related to anything specifically within how the Laravel server is interacting with the JavaScript package. And then outside of that, mostly probably on x.com, the everything app, but I'm on LinkedIn as well. That's JOSHCIRRE and all the things.
I have shared all those links in chat as well. And right now, Josh's Twitter is pinned. Let me get this real quick.
Yeah, you should share the Wyrd. Not you, Leah. I'm talking to the chat, but like everyone should also share the Wyrd link too, because like so like every now and then I will go to reverb.joshcirre.com, and because it's in part of like the description, every now and then there'll be like another person there, and it's really cool to be like, oh, someone else is looking at this at the same time as I am.
Yeah, and like a year and a half after you made it. So yeah, make sure if you enjoyed the stream today to tweet about it and share out the link. Maybe tag Josh to say that what you enjoyed about it and or what you think is cool about Instruct.
And we do have that, like if you wanted to look through the code that AI helped generate for us, you can look at Wyrd on GitHub, and that would be the same code that is live on the main site.
And I have shared that one as well.
Ooh,
I think
Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune? I don't know.
Jeopardy.
Which one wins more money? I actually don't know.
I don't know. See, I gotta think. I gotta get in my grind mindset right now. I'm just like, which one's more fun? Like, which one would I want to do?
Yeah. Stop thinking about being fun. Yeah.
I know. I gotta grind. It's all about money. I need the Lambo.
Lambda.
This is what I have to think about. Yeah.
Lambdas probably cost more than a Lambo at some point.
Probably. And yeah, I'll be doing another live stream next week with Hannah, who is on our sales team, she used to be a developer, so she has done some front-end development, but we'll be doing a live stream on showing how to create a Laravel app using AI, but focusing more from a non-developer point, so standpoint. So we'll be trying to create an application using Laravel, but not using like a CLI or anything, instead using the Claude code, but through the desktop app. So that should be a fun one. So make sure to be here for that, which is next Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time or 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're also doing a roadshow meetup in Atlanta, which is the 26th, which is Thursday. Tomorrow. Yeah, we're doing a meetup tomorrow. So if you haven't registered for that yet and you're going to be in the area, which is Atlanta, make sure to register for that. And yeah, thank you all for being here, and I will see you next Wednesday. Do you have anything else to say, Josh, or we're good?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm pumped for that next week. So I'll be here. I mean, I'll be in the chat.
Yep. Be in the chat. If you want to see more AI stuff, then just be here for that. Bye, everyone.